Hello, Schrodinger's audience. We are the first session of Scions on the Open Hearth. We have, on previous sessions, discussed safety tools, which we're playing under. We have Lines of Veils, with the X card in play. And we've established the tone of the game, which is broadly the campy end of seriousness in this dark future. And it's pretty dark and it's pretty campy. That's the kind of situation we've got into so far. The Emperor's been assassinated by the War Master. Precipitating a civil war as the Scions trying to prove their worth and claim the throne. And we've played 2 seasons of war, and we'll do the 3rd season of war, which is just before the downtime or winter season, when we all have a little rest and parties. Just double checking, and at the start of the season of war, something happens, which is the player with the highest glory, and it's actually now Salandris. Salandris, you get the Imperial Adjutant. So you can move that over to your play area. Let me just...
What? My Imperial Adjutant?
Yep. Yeah, the character who's got...
Not yours.
Yeah, the character who has most... It's the special, the Emperor's Special Child Badge. So the player who with the most... and so at the end of your play, you immediately refreshes, you get a token. So that's good. That does mean that Salandris gets to establish where the meeting is. So it's the beginning of a new season, the fall season of war. Where does Salandris think us, the rest of the Scions, should actually meet?
I mean, at the source of Salandris's most recent and glorious victory, we're in the... I think we've towed the palace of the Master of the Maelstrom into orbit around... a lava world, why not? I think Salandris is just sort of sitting in front of his organ, like the musical instrument that he used to control the Maelstrom. Doing something suitably shitty. I don't know. The problem is he's made of drippy lava. Or like black tinged flames at this point, because Salandris is a little bit corrupted.
Also,
are you in like a lava hot tub or something like that?
oh, yeah, I like that. And maybe there's some attendance from the world that we are around, just sort of like
poor sweating bastards. Yeah.
Well, I'm imagining they are also,
they're
somebody's
like magma people too. Okay, yeah.
I love that. Yeah, especially because this is one of the things. I think we'll probably skip in and Kay and Jim can introduce their characters in a minute. But I kind of think enter Salandris, explain to us what happened. Why are you now the Master of the Maelstrom? Do you want to be explaining to Zalazaz why you're in this situation? Do you want to take that over?
Yeah. I think it's uncomfortably hot for the two of you in here. It's uncomfortably hot for anyone who's not made of fire. And Salandris gestures, and you see a 3-dimensional sort of holographic projection of the Maelstrom that the Master of the Maelstrom had denied access to and through this central transit. It's not really a hub. This wrinkle in space that we must get through to transverse easily. And you can see the solar fleet being, I think literally decimated. We said 1 in 10. Or is that the other way around? Being absolutely destroyed as it flings itself against the forces of the Master of the Maelstrom. It seems as if there were perhaps some sort of treachery. The ships that were decoys are left alone, and the ships that were truly part of the attack are being targeted and destroyed. Maybe there's like a little flash of Admiral Raven's grim face. And then we see Salandris burning through the hull of the very palace that we are sitting inside of. With the burning suns, destroying the heart of the master's seat of power and claiming it for Solandris' self.
Also, that the you would have probably heard this, Solos, that the master of the Maelstrom, known as the Tyrant, famously hates all the Scions except Solandris, who is kind of views as likes to view himself as the father figure. Solandris doesn't really agree. He is also the ex of Admiral Raven, and Solandris decapitated the Tyrant and delivered the still living head in a vase to Raven, who is presently in possession of her ex. Weirdly, the Tyrant is very proud. Excellent. I think as that kind of introduction, go to Aurelian. Do you want to describe what Aurelian's doing in the room? And also, like, I imagine you're going to start talking about your own exploits as well.
Oh, yeah. I think Aurelian is lounging in nothing but gauzy fabric. Is bordering on indecency, but he's like, if I'm going to be in this hot place, you're not going to get much out of me. It questions taste and art in the way that gaudy tyrant money kind of vibes do. And he's leaning back. There's definitely like some sweat dripping on his brow, but he's like acting as if it's very nonchalant. He's unbothered by it, and he's playing with a little sort of trinket between his fingers, something that his newest friend got him. Because while he denied going to help with the tyrant, he instead went and secured himself an ally in the Ultra Thief by going to their trial and, explaining that they didn't do it. Stories, lies, blah, 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 evocation. And in doing so was gifted the heart of our dead father. Which you'll notice through the gauze, there's a not a scar, but a carefully manicured new decoration on Aurelian's chest from where they opened themselves up to sew Daddy Dearest's heart inside them.
The Ultra Thief is a charming robot and something of a mystery, and has stolen many of the great things. I think kind of like the way to bring Zalazaz in is, of course, you've heard of the Ultra Thief. What's the thing that's the Ultra Thief? What do you remember the Ultra Thief? Sorry, what do you remember that the Ultra Thief stole, which particularly annoyed you?
Oh, it's like something my mother was buried with.
Nice.
Like a locket around her neck that she wore that had my picture in it, that that she carried with her, and they didn't steal it because it was worth anything. They didn't steal it because it had a secret message inside it. Basically, they stole it just to annoy me, to tweak me, because of course, it's my mother. It was my mother's tomb, so it was on my, my temple world and guarded by all of my cultists and all that kind of stuff, and somehow they got in there and snatched it right out from under my nose.
That's great. Also, I like how we established your mother, and I'm certainly interested in the mothers of the Scions, but that's something I think we could come back to. Fantastic. Which explains why the Ultra Thief may not be here, unless they're watching, which of course is Aurelian's call. But I think, Jim, do you want to establish where Zalazaz is in the room for the briefing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to let anybody stand me up, so I'm standing as close to the the magma tub as I can, but there's a couple of dozen of my cultists, and all of us are dressed in our black robes with the long sleeves and the big hoods and all that kind of stuff and everything. So we're not, but my cultists are all kind of sonorously chanting in, dirge-like, and you can see that, like, so, like, there's like a little ring of them, and there's one in the middle who, like, like they're just gritting their teeth, and, like, they've got like clenched fists, and as I'm talking, like, my breath is coming out, like, you can see the steam, like, I'm cold enough that, like, my breath is steaming as it's coming out, but, like, you can see all the cultists are basically, like, drawing the heat from me and channeling it into this one poor schmuck who is, has volunteered for the job, and, like, his robe is, like, smoking, and he's sweating like crazy and everything. And, at some point during this conversation, like, he's just going to catch on fire and silently collapse, into a flaming heap. And another one will step forward and then start to take on the heat that otherwise would be meant for me.
That's great. Also, like, weirdly close to home in the UK at the moment. Like, I would take that. I would take that offer. I think that sounds great. Okay, we're in the situation, and at this point, the adjutant arrives, who is the droid. The sort of the smell of the dead emperor, that hot baking smell arrives with them. In spite of that, the adjutant has got enormous liquid oxygen, so it's pumping through its system, and, like, steam bursts out of the vents. This kind of bursts of energy, keeping the adjutant crisply cool. By Scions, we have some updates from the various parts of the Empire. They move around and report the news. There was a signal that was still of interest in deep space. Has not been investigated, still continuing, and has not been lost yet. There seems to be some encouragement to get there. There is a second signal that arrived, a strange signal with a deep pulse. Seems to be from a very distant part of the galaxy, and is interesting and curious. And some news from nearby Verdus 2. The Imperial examinations, having recovered Verdus 2, have recovered an ancient site beneath the planet, which is. Let me just check what tags I put on it. Oh, it's got no tags. This is ancient. It's from the previous empire, or possibly even earlier, of unknown technology, and we would like to gain access to it, though it appears to be beyond the local technology. There's a matter of some interest for everybody. It appears to be a quiet time. No news from the War Master since, though we've heard some. Apparently, the Tyrant was actually the Tyrant has told Admiral Raven that the War Master is assisting him in this particular matter. So they appear to be out in the lands. Anyway, can I get drinks for anyone? Canapes, perhaps? And he steps back. Salandris, of course, you are now the first Scion, so you can lead the discussion of what you think the mission should be. Worth noting, like, I'll also highlight. I must say, I think it's unlikely to happen this time, but, like, the space to, like, ask missions from the factions. If you want to speak to a faction head, that's allowed. Is there anything else I can do for you? That's certainly a thing, and I'll be offering you them. But also, you may notice, as encouraged by playtest notes last time, I put 2 cards in the GM's area, which are Fleeting Opportunity and Long-Term Project. Basically, if there's any player-orientated mission you would like to do specifically, as in it's something that's emerged in the narrative you actually think you guys would actually explicitly want to do, we use the Fleeting Opportunity and Long-Term Project cards to simulate that. I'd like to choose an example off the top of my head. Last time we talked about the Tyrant's Head being in play. Like, if one of the players say, I think I should own the Tyrant's Head and I think he should be an ally and an advisor to me. That could be a mission. Like, turning the Tyrant towards me, and that would end up becoming an asset. You would essentially be getting an asset card, but you choose to have done that. Does that make sense? So it's that kind of like, despite the game is clearly like it randomly generates stuff, it throws stuff at you and then builds upon that. There's still kind of space for players to kind of stick their finger in if there's something they want to do. Like, you don't like Mistress Blade. I think I should assassinate Mistress Blade and put someone else in charge of the Blade Guild. This is all in the narrative space. But Salandris, lead the debate of what's going on.
I do have a quick mechanics question first.
You do?
When do we roll for rebellion?
Now, as in basically before the start, before I lay down cards, it should have been rolled, and I missed that one. Okay. So I will move. At the beginning of the turn, the Rogue Trader gets a new token, and roll a dice. The Rogue Trader was Slandrus or Tay? Sorry, Aurelian.
Aurelian.
Yep. Aurelian, roll a d6. If you roll 1 or 2, the Rogue Trader returns. Or the Rogue Explorer, rather.
Nope, not yet.
Not yet, still out there. Yeah, I think you managed to get a message crackling through the deep space communication, as in, I've nearly found it. I will return shortly.
Take video. Wear a GoPro.
I mean, I don't think Solandris feels anything so prosaic as guilt. But the Solar Fleet's numbers are less than they were, and it would be advantageous for them to be greater.
I was about to say, the Rebellion. You're right, I've entirely forgot that one. I forgot the Solar Fleet got blown up enough. Now is the chance. The way the Rebellion works, we roll a d6. If it's 1, since there's 2 tokens, it's less than 2, it rebels. Alternatively, a player can spend tokens, as in a faction bond with it, to reduce the number of chaos bonds. The only person who can do that is Jim. So if Jim wants to make sure they don't rebel, Jim can choose to spend the green token to reduce, spend their political background to do it. If not, we can, risk a Solar Fleet rebellion. So it's a good time for possibly someone leaning on Jim if they want this to happen. Would be an option, but please, players, carry on.
So, just mechanical question: If the fleet rebels, does that mean I lose that token on it? Is this a thing where I got to decide now? It sounds like I got to decide: do I want to spend that token to reduce the chance that we'll rebel, or just hope the dice go my way, but then if they do, I can use it.
Yes, basically.
Okay.
So in other words, if a faction rebels, all tokens, basically any time a card moves through in any area, all tokens are removed. So in this case,
got it. Okay.
However, it is only a 1 in chance of rebellion, so it's quite a small chance for rebelling, but it's also a real chance.
All right. Salandros, bathing. What an unusual sight.
Ouch.
Why have you called us here?
To run the Empire.
I can do that perfectly fine from my flagship.
And I think Solandra sort of looks at the Imperial adjutant and says, well, if your sources are as good as mine.
I am open to your suggestions, however.
Yeah. Just to pop out of character for a moment. So is this Zasalaz asking what Salandris is going to do mission-wise?
Yeah, basically, yes. Yeah.
Cool. I'll say as a GM, in a sec, if Jim's decided not to spend the dice and we're going to roll, that's what we're going to do next. So if anyone wants to try to talk Zalazaz into using their resources, now would be the chance to do it.
I mean, as a player, I think it's interesting if there is a chance that they rebel.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Solar Fleet is the one person I don't have my fingers in, so whatever, that's your problem.
Cool. Right. Good luck, folks. Roll a dice. If you want. Actually, Salandris offended the faction? I think Salandris should roll then.
Offended is one way to put it.
Yeah.
A 3.
Hooray. I'm wishing my brain immediately went to, I know how in the fiction I would make that work now. Which is fun. You do get a message from Raven saying the officers are not happy. We'll see what to do to keep them happy, keep them under wraps, but a lot of dead people floating in space, whilst you have a significant amount of glory. It'll be better to make amends to them sooner rather than later, because later could get bloody.
Yeah. Salandris is, none of us are fools, right? We are Scions. I think Solandris's plan for this next season is going to be to try and curry favor with the Solar Fleet. Not that Solandris would ever phrase it like that. Which I guess is a fleeting opportunity? Question mark?
It's, to be honest, it's like you could actually just, it could be a fleeting opportunity, or like the other way of doing it is when I'm going to go to this signal. Is there anything you need to do on the way? So, for example, actually, let me just, because I'm allowed to introduce submissions at any point. So I'm going to say, Raven sends a message through. And there is one possible thing that could be done. This distant signal, this very far off one, it's a long way, and there's a certain experimental drive we kind of would like to experiment with. Like, it has killed most of the test pilots, and to be honest, the ones who haven't been killed, they'd be better off if they were dead. If you are willing to pilot it and see if it can, cross the gap, which it should be able to do, that would certainly soften down things a little. So what that is a submission. So basically, it's extra dice on the challenge for the middle one, and if you do that, it counts the mission for the Solar Fleet, which removes the Chaos Bond and also gives you a bond and gets an XP.
I think Solandris sort of grins and says, if you're searching for someone brave enough, search no further.
Excellent.
So Solandris is planning to, and I'm just going to put this on top, check out this second signal that is further away and test out this experimental drive. And it's not just because Solandris's mommy told Solandris to.
Excellent. The adjutant says, and what about is there any plans for the ancient site, which is currently on Verdus 2?
The tomb, you mean?
I think they mean the architectural wonder.
I will explore the tomb.
Yes.
But there's nothing stopping us both from going, right?
Yeah. Basically, it's kind of like you both choose to go to any mission if you like.
Yeah.
What's the third option again?
There's another deep space signal. This one has been around last turn as well. So it's so I'm just doing a pause. As in, that'll be a challenge. So see what's out there. Basically, this is kind of quite a simple, and there's nothing really threatening happening right now. It's kind of an explore the galaxy kind of turn.
No, we can leave that again. I'm sure that's totally fine. Yeah, he wants to go to the architectural wonder.
That's pretty fun. The two of you go exploring there. Right.
The tomb.
Yes. Architectural wonder. Tomb. Architectural wonder. Tomb. Excellent. Just looking around the play. Okay, what we can do now is now we actually ascending order. So descending order of glory. We can actually change our minds and flip it around. Solandris, what's your choice?
Solandris is going for this deep space signal.
Excellent. Aurelian, what's your choice? So Aurelian, K.
Hitting the wrong mute button. I hit Discord. Yeah, going to that architectural wonder.
Fantastic. And what of the Zalazaz? Where are you heading?
The tomb.
That is fantastic. So there's actually everyone does what they says. And we can hard cut. I reckon the way to do this is do the two of them in the site together. Tay, do you want interested in playing an NPC for this particular one?
You mean some sort of adventure archaeologist? Absolutely.
Actually, adventure archaeologist, take the prompts from the back, take character prompts from the back of your choice, and the other person who discovered the tomb. Worth remembering this thing is everyone in this place everyone who lived here is either robotic or holograms, but of course people can come in from the Empire itself. So yeah. And I'll sort of describe Verdus 2, because Verdus 2 is an enormous agri-world, capable of feeding 100 worlds its size. You've got these fields of wheat, these giant milk cows giving these gallons, and of course the absolutely delicious bread scrum kind of stuff, which is given out to you by drones upon arrival. and there's been digging. Like the enormous combine harvesters and diggers have sort of been unearthing, and beneath there is actually some what appears to be an entrance into a tomb in that kind of way. Tay, do you want to describe who the person is greeting them?
Yeah, I think this is a hologram of a professor of archaeology, perhaps someone who consciousness has been uploaded, and I think let's go with she. I think she's constantly trying to pick up like dirt and show you the quality of the dirt, and hands go right through it, and every time she's just like, oh darn it, but no, you must, and is sort of fluttering around, and this is the most exciting thing that has happened in thousands of years, and she is beside herself with delight.
Excellent. I must say, I want you to describe it. I'm totally leaving you. What's the major problem in getting into the tomb? As in, why is it dangerous? What sort of traps are there? Look at this passing off GMing.
Like you mean the archaeological wonder? Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
The structure. Oh, please. We don't know its ritual purpose yet. That's a great question. So it would have to be something that would affect robots. I think that every so often, and the timing of it seems to be random, and the archaeologist is sort of speculating about what sort of physical randomization device they have deep in the bowels of the structure. There is just like a sheet of energy that moves through the all of the entrances, and possibly further in, but they don't know because they haven't been able to make it, and just atomizes anything it passes through.
Like an electromagnetic pulse kind of thing.
Yes, but I think it doesn't just like fry electronics, like it turns them into but that sort of pulse. And again, just genuinely random timing, and I think the archaeologist swings around a screen with her many billions of permutations of models for it, and says, none of them work. Isn't that exciting? You could die horribly at any moment.
Oh, aren't you just delightful?
Thank you.
Yeah, you can spin a yarn.
The hologram processors.
Excellent. This is the situation I think we have is this is a challenge of cunning, I reckon, in terms of like how to get through, how to turn it off, all those kind of things. But there is one small complication. Like there's a message from the Terran Lords, which you kind of received in transit from the Assembly. And the Assembly speaks, 51.2% of Terran Lords have an interest in the ancient history. There is a minority of 27.3 who would be able to owe the Scions significant amounts if the approach was made delicately. And there is a majority of 75% who would be very upset if the site was destroyed in the process. Thank you for your attention, and good luck. What that gives, sort of stripping away the fiction, they're offering a submission. Like, in that basically, if you want to, you can try to do this whole thing peacefully, in which case I had a D8, but it's D8 risky, which means if you fail this challenge, you lose a favor. Now, you've both got to agree to do this together, basically, as in, are you going to try for this mission? And then the person who succeeds will get the mission success. So this is something you can argue about in character or not.
Well, of course we're not going to destroy it. It's an archaeological wonder.
Whatever is entombed here will have far more value than the structure itself. So, I agree.
Excellent. In which case, I'm adding an extra D8. Sorry. No, please
Far
go
too
on.
many words to just agree with me. That was all.
The novelty of seeing you attempt subtlety entertains me.
Excellent. There is rejoicing back at via the assembly. There's rejoicing back around the Terran Lords, and they're planning celebration parties, which is why it's risky, because they've already planned the party. And if you don't actually have a party, Terran Lords are very, very fussy. Excellent. So now we can actually do the. I'm going to roll the dice to see what it is. So it's 2d6, 2d8. It's dangerous. In other words, if you fail, you get corruption rather than just the lower level, a pain. And it's also risky, so you lose a faction bond if you fail. Let me roll. And it's a poor roll for them. Total of 7.
Nice.
So, who will face this challenge of cunning? Who will dare the ancient defenses of this tomb or architectural wonder and leave it intact?
Aurelian will.
Excellent.
I, Zalalaz, will face this challenge of cunning.
Excellent. Feel free to assemble. Since it's the first one of a new session, shall I walk through the dice assembly to make sure everyone remembers it?
That'd be helpful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course, it's been 2 weeks. Right. Everyone, you always get your name, as in that's a D6 for everybody. You always get your legend, as in it's always how you do it, the style of doing it. You always get that for free. D6. You always get the relevant domain. In this case, it's cunning. So add your cunning dice, which varies depending who you are. If you want, you can channel. Channel costs you 1 pain and allows you to add a second domain to the challenge. Right, they're the core things. You can also spend bonds. Bonds are any of the tokens on the board. They add a different dice depending which ones there are. That's normally the name of the dice. Sorry, name of the card they're on. In the question of player bonds, that's the characters' names. So, for example, if you spent a bond with Aurelian, you add a D6. If you spend a bond with the faction, you add a D4. But that is on top of your dice instead of one of them. As in, the D4 is the best bonus, really. Does that make sense, or shall I go through the back end again? Because I felt myself.
Nope.
The beginning was good. The back end was messy. Okay, cool. Jim, do you want to go talk through your dice just to make sure we've got it all together?
Yes. I am Zalalaz Chosix. My name grants me D6. My legend is Faustian. I have made many bargains with dark powers through my life. That grants me another D6. This is a challenge of cunning, and I am nothing if not cunning. That grants me a D8. I accept the pain of trucking with the supernatural, so that will grant me an additional D6. And I will call upon my allies in the faith to lend me cultists to use their bodies to test the defenses of this place, which will give me another D4. And Kieron, do you mind just pulling my thing off of my faith card there? There we go. Cool.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'll move it. Sorry, yeah.
I'm green. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
cool. Thank you.
Fantastic. That's great. And what about Aurelian, Kay?
Yes, so I am Aurelian Rex, first of my name, best of my name. So I get a D6. I am a smooth operator when it comes to deal making, battle, love, all the things. I get a D6. I am somewhat cunning, D6. However, I'm committing to some pain and suffering because I think the supernatural is actually just what or the unnatural is just what we need here. So I will throw in my D8. And then I think I will turn to, let's see, who do I want to turn to? The Blades Guild. And gain their help in this as well. Do I want to do anything else? No, I think I'm good.
Excellent.
So,
right, now, good luck, everyone, with your dice pool, trying to beat a score of 7, which should be eminently doable. The question is, really, can you beat each other?
Well, I like the look of that.
What happens if there's a tie?
You roll off annoyingly.
You roll until there isn't.
Yes. It's not the most elegant part of the system of Paragon. It's
Do you repeat the roll, or is it just like
it's just a
whatever?
D6.
Like
Roll-
just
yeah.
a D6. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Is it about
I
is it
think-
equals?
I think you beat me by 1.
Yeah, it's +1 is 15. 15 versus 14. So the way narration works is, just remind me. I'll set up the narration. It passes to Aurelian, who gets to narrate. Since Aurelian actually rolled a success, they can actually absolutely break down the problem. They would have solved the thing by themselves, and then Jim gets to narrate last to close off the thing. So and unlock wherever central vault it is. Okay, I'll set up saying. Okay, we're put in front of the gates. The hologram archaeologist watches onwards as you've kind of set up whatever you've set up to try to get inside. And the power crashes through the system. All these doors, all these gates. This wave of annihilating energy. Okay, in the distance, cows moo. And of course, the cows being skyscraper size, it's an awful rumbling that moves across the countryside. And then they go to work and find their way in. Aurelian, what happens?
So Aurelian has prepared for this, and as soon as that disruption starts, Aurelian starts singing. It is no words, just melody, and as they sink their unnatural into this uncanny voice of theirs, and it's almost like we see this battle of like music, essentially, and it seems as if it's very well paced until Aurelian goes to strum on their lyre, giving just this extra oomph and bonus to their voice that shuts down and kind of overwhelms the senses. All the doors kind of start opening up and it just shuts it down. But Aurelian has to keep that going. So every now and then a strum vocals, which allows perhaps Zalzal to overtake them when entering.
Yeah. I see the explorer flickering by the energy as well in that way. Zalazas, what do you do?
I want to just ask timeout just for a second. Just so the dice are, we add 2 together, the 2 highest. Is that how that works? Or
yes, you add the the 2 highest, and then you add the
Yep.
D4.
Okay, so I think we did tie, right?
Oh, I just completely
Because I've got 2 5s and a 4 on my D4, and Kay's
Okay.
got 7 and 5 and a 2 on her D4,
you have.
right?
I'm sorry, I saw the 7 and the 5, and I saw that I got something completely wrong. So no, you're entirely right. They've tied. Roll off time, and we can. And this would be a good time to introduce the rival rules. So do you want to roll? Okay.
Well, maybe I can narrate what I'm doing, and then the roll-off can be like who actually gets to the center first or something like that.
Yeah. I'd just say I mentioned this last time. There's this things called the rival rules, but the rival rules mean that when someone narrates, the other person can just carry on until the winners, until they're happy with the ending. So you can do the back and forth. You can do a race sequence through this whole thing.
Oh, sure. Okay,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So like as long as we decide who's going to win right now, and then basically you can bounce back and forth as as much as you want, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Zalaz, you are I'm Zalaz. Aurelian, you're like doing some kind of like counter spell to the energy that's coming out or something like that is sort of what's going on right now.
Yeah, barding. He's barding.
Okay. Yeah, and so there's just a stream of my cultists, that are just kind of lined up, and they're just kind of marching. Are you guys familiar with the Lemmings video game?
Yeah, very much so.
Yes. Basically, they are just exploring the tomb lemmings style. It's just like this line of them marching in, and when they hit the thing that starts mashing them, however many of them get mashed until we figure out how to divert them somewhere else, or and as they're doing this, they're passing information about about what's where, and gradually making their way deeper into it. But it's costly.
That's perfect. Now I think we should do the roll off, and then we'll work out. So in other words, we've got the psychic harp keeping doors open, closing things off, whilst the sheer body power of the cultists is exploring the place. Both of you roll a d6. Whoever rolls highest is the best. It's something very pure about just roll a d6. Like, 4 versus. Okay, what happens now is another roll off.
Well, I think I know how that's going to go. There we go.
Right, congratulations, Aurelian. I'm going to say, now Aurelian can narrate winning, actually, but if you want to do the back and forth at the end, feel free. If you say it's not over, you can just continue moving back and forth if you don't think it's a satisfactory end, Jim.
Yeah.
But Aurelian, take the controls.
Yeah, so you've got your lemmings just brute forcing it, but Aurelian realizes that a structure of this size and this ancient probably has a lot of dead ends, probably has a lot of things, and so he's already got this kind of echoing resonance. And even if I didn't necessarily use a specific thing for this, can I bring it into narration, like a specific tool?
Like an asset. Yeah. As in, for example, please guess, basically.
Yeah. So I think we see Aurelian realizing this changes the pitch of their melody a bit, so it's still going, but to get the Ultra Thief's attention, because who better to know how to quickest get into the best place here than the best thief of all time? And they will come when I call. And so we see kind of the sort of sonorous voice change key as he calls upon the Ultra Thief to bring them there, so that they can inform him what is the fastest and quickest way through this place. Not a tomb.
The Ultra Thief smiles and traces it in front of you in the air. This way, quickly. Or I could get it for you.
Oh, that would be delightful. You go fetch.
Cool. Do you want to narrate the happening, or Jim, do you want to narrate something?
No, I'm good with that. That's I like that. I mean, does the Ultra Thief? I guess the Ultra Thief makes sure that Zalalaz sees them arrive, and does that thing where they're there talking, they're there talking to Aurelian long enough for me to notice that they're there, but not long enough, for me to bring any sort of wrath down on them. They're there long enough just that I catch a glimpse of them, and Zalalaz's eyes widen slightly, his frown gets slightly deeper, which for him is an intense display of emotion. But then they're gone.
Yeah, the sort of the couriers, the Ultra Thief presses the button and the vault opens. In which case, Aurelian, do the honors. Feel free to flip the card.
Yes. Undead robots. Oh, that sucks for you, Jim. That would have been perfect for your aesthetic.
I'm actually just going to read the text. This is one of the entries I've actually done. Philosophers argue that the robots that emerge from forgotten tombs and archives to ravage all that live are not undead robots. However, it's lucky that the Empire is full of more poetic souls who recognise the truth of the awful, unholy technology that is presently annihilating them for the hatred of life. When unleashed from ancient vaults, these self-replicating, resurrection and monstrous horror shows spread out, moving from planet to planet before they are destroyed. Hopefully. Okay, basically the image you kind of get is it's a portal to some awful underground realm, and these creatures, these mechanical beasts, which are, very difficult to sort of see. I'm going to say, first question, actually, let's give it to Aurelian. What form do these robots take?
Oh, I really like the image they come with. So,
Yeah.
I think they're this kind of inversion of the architecture they were found in. So while it was standing upright, now it's inverted, turned around, and there's just this big glowing eye, and Aurelian is just absolutely cooing over it. The designs, the structure, they all have their own unique patterns. No one
They
is
are
the
beautiful.
same.
Obviously, their death lasers cut into the landscape, blowing, the wheats igniting. Question, actually, this one for Jim. Zalazax, why are they hard to kill?
They're already dead.
Yeah.
I mean, like, short answer, they're already dead. But like, the other thing is that like the self-replicating part of it means that like you have to kill them from far away in a way that there is like no connection between you and them, because otherwise, whatever like nanotechnology keeps them going, will find its way back and infect you. Like if you throw a bunch of soldiers at these things, you'll end up with, like for every one they kill, they'll be, that's another little inverted pyramid that starts stalking around the battlefield within a few minutes of, they get eviscerated.
That's great. Would the professor like to say anything about what her response to this is? Because she's an ancient hologram. She's probably got an opinion.
Yeah, I think she watches some of these robots swarm out, and you said they're on the landscape and begin. One sec. Let me check our lines and veils. Doing something to the giant cows, and I think we just hear like a unhappy moo in the distance.
Yeah.
And sort of looks calculating for a moment, nods, and says, I believe the security system might have been to keep them in.
At which point, I think we'll cut away to the far edge of the galaxy with Salandris, unaware that Salandris' planet is about to be destroyed. We have Salandris in the seat of an enormous spaceship about to burst forth. And we'll actually pause for a second to actually do the actual XP, what people gain for that. Aurelian, you got most. You were best, therefore you get 7 XP. Sorry, 7 glory. Yeah. Chosex succeeded, so you get 4 glory. Yeah. Aurelian, you get also you completed a mission for the Terran Lords. So you tick 1 XP on your character sheet, and you also get 1 bond with the Terran Lords. And because the Terran Lords, despite this disaster, are still throwing a party anyway, because they're that kind of narcissistic monsters. And I think that's everything everyone gains. Right, we're going to do this the last challenge quickly, and then have our first break, if that's okay.
Do I get nothing? Do I get nothing for the Terran one? Oh, that's right, because it's that's the only one person gets it thing because of the
yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Actually, Salandris, let's give this to you. What is it about this drive which is utterly petrifying to observe?
Interesting. I think it's the inversion drive. And while you are operating it, it sometimes temporarily turns you inside out.
That's not good. Aurelian, do you want to jump in to play Cerelian here? If that's that name, let me just check. Yeah, Salandrin, if you remember from last time, the technician. The personal. Last time, Jim, we introduced extra support characters around them, and Salandrin was introduced into the retinue of Salandris. Do you want to give a quick introduction of Salandrin? Okay.
Yeah, Salandrin is both curious to a fault, but also sort of courageous, perhaps is the way to put it, or impulsive, or so they don't always have their own best interests at heart, but they are constantly wanting to know new things, see new things, try new things, and they do it literally at the heels of Salandros. They are maybe Solandros' spawn, question mark? And are constantly fixing the space directly as close to Solandros as they can. They are the up close and personal fixer.
That's great. Is there any advice that the Slandrin gives Slandris at this point, apart from get off that thing?
Fascinating how the cell structures change and flip. I mean, it's not great, and long-term exposure probably wouldn't suit well. But I'm sure it's fine for a bit. We should probably be swift, so.
Swiftness is why it's worth the risk, is it not?
I agree entirely. His
I think
eyeball inverts.
I think Solandris makes Solandris makes this gesture. Makes a gesture that in another person you might have interpreted as a sort of gesture towards a jovial pat on the head, tousling hair. But of course, Solandris can't do that, so just sort of mimes it a little bit.
That's perfect. And we have the situation like you're at the edge of space with this enormous engine. I reckon this is actually also a challenge of cunning, as in specifically the part of cunning, as in can you get this thing working properly? You know what I mean? So it's the mastery of the technological problem you face, because you probably have to tweak this thing to make it operate. You're doing a mission of on it, so there's an extra D8 and it's dangerous. So if you fail this, you suffer corruption rather than that. And it's 3d6 plus 1d8, which I will roll now. Oh, I should have said it before rolling. Do you mind if I do something just to demonstrate the roll?
Yeah, feel free.
Yeah. I won't re-roll this dice because they're pretty good. They're acceptable for you, as in it's top 4. Basically, I'm going to say what you don't know is this drive has been sabotaged by someone who's pissed off with you inside the solar fleet. So I spend a token to add a dice to the pool. So this is actually, you could get it down for completing missions, but I can also spend those tokens to add dice to the pool. Yeah? So someone, probably not Admiral Raven, has messed with the engine. We don't know who, but and adds a D10, which is significant dice, which is fine. Your total is still 8. Who will face this challenge of technology and drive the inversion drive across the galaxy despite the sabotage by some perfidious solar fleet member?
Solandris will. Something being a bad idea has never stopped Solandris before.
Yes.
All right. And Solandris, of course, has Solandris' name. That's a D6. And Solandris' legend of radiance, which is now a D8. I took that advantage through being particularly corrupted. D6 for cunning, because we're all... perhaps Solandris is not so cunning as the Chosex.
Yeah. So you're all geniuses, but some are more genius than others. I think that's and also for geniuses, you're not always very smart.
No. And I'm going to take a corruption because I am well past Solandris' pain threshold. Because sabotage is, of course, an act of war, and Solandris was raised to fight, if nothing else. So I will use the domain of war. And I'm also... yeah, I think I'll also use the Imperial Adjutant because they seem smart.
That's at this point, is the way. Just remind people of the rules. Is with assets, the base dice is what it always will be. But if it's narratively relevant, it could be higher. So in this case, I think it is just the base dice. The Imperial Adjutant's smart, but he's not like this isn't specifically of use to him. No. Unless you can justify it, feel free to justify it in a way if if you have an idea how it could.
Nothing besides the, I suppose, vaguely racist against robots. One sec, let me check our license bills again. Let me know if this is, because this is a be careful, let me know if this is over the line for anything. I think Solandris' full thought process is, this drive is a machine, the adjutant is a machine. Clearly, there is some degree of simpatico there.
I'm fine with that. Has anyone got a problem? I think we sound okay.
No
We
problem.
can always edit as needed. So I believe that is 3d6 and a 3d and a d8.
3d6, a d8.
2d8s.
2d8s, yes.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like in this narration, I'll just sort of highlight the option because make sure people are aware of this. You absolutely can find the traitor and like kill them or like throw them into the drive as part of your narration. And it's worth noting that since you've got a traitor established somewhere in your organization, this would be a good time to get rid of them if you wanted to, if you think that suits the narrative. But I just want to highlight that as in that is all would be good to see if you want to go that way as an option. But anyway, is also good. Good luck in rolling.
All right. That's the top two, right?
Yeah, easily.
13.
Cool. Right, the engine is set up, ready to burst into space, and you're please take over the narration as you're kind of about to jump across the void and what you do to make sure the engine works.
Yeah. So I think this is a because I think I said Solandris's reactor that Solandris uses for the ship, the flagship, is sort of a sphere, and I think this is another sphere. Love to get in a sphere. This is sci-fi. Yeah, and I think Solandris steps into it, and there are, maybe there's dampening fields on the flames. So this is the first time we can see sort of the actual outline of Solandris' actual body instead of just the corona flame now tipped in black as corruption begins to overtake Solandris. And I think it is one of those things where the interface is predominantly psychic, and you need to convince not just yourself and the ship, but space itself to invert enough that you can, much like in the Maelstrom, slide between the folds, Wrinkle in Time style. And I think as that process begins, there is a okay, you're hiding something in a sphere that's invisible. Oh, this is clearly some sort of psychic trap. There's a psychic trap that, maybe it messes with your perception. And the saboteur has, embedded it into this drive, and it attempts to trap Solandris in an illusion, a memory of a moment of humiliation. I think it's got to be losing that bet to the War Master, and the rest of, well, until now, I suppose, because we haven't seen the War Master in a little bit, having to kneel, and the feeling to Solandris of being on Solandris' knees is anathema. And also Solandris knows that this is not a thought Solandris would choose to think, let me put it that way, and is able to rip it from this psychic whirl, and it is deeply unpleasant to watch as we see there is meat in there. What a surprise! Who would have guessed? Let me check our lines veils again. Yeah. I think we're good. The inside meat becomes the outside meat for a little bit, and there is, I think, a gut-heaving sense of movement without moving, and true, almost debilitating disorientation. And then they are through, the crew. I guess I got a question for Kay, because you've been driving this character. Was Solandrin at the party?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And
They
I
were
think
like in a corner being a nerd.
You're excited. It's your first proper party or something, like, you know.
Yeah, it was the first time they'd been invited.
Yeah. Okay. Then I think perhaps Salandrin did not knowingly do this, but I think someone used Salandrin to get close enough, right? Sort of like a, hey, put this thumb drive in your computer. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Because I think
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, was that King?
Oh, it's got something cool on it for me to explore. That's so thoughtful of you.
Oh, the label says pictures of puppies. I love puppies.
I love things. Oh.
I think the memory of Salandris kneeling was from Salandrin's point of view at this party, like over the shoulder of whatever, Terran Lord, Imperial accountant Salandrin was nerding out with. And when we emerge, Salandris, much like a sort of a newt hatching, slithers wetly from this drive and falls to Salandris' hands and knees, and the flames begin to emerge. And Salandris turns to Salandrin and says, "You're grounded."
And you say that, and I think, let me know how you feel about this. Does like the ground under Salandrin like melt a bit, and he sinks into it and like becomes stuck in the ground, like actually grounded?
Yeah, I think for now. But I also am literally like not going to be flying with the fleet, at least for a little while.
Makes sense.
I love the idea of him like grounded being that, these basically statues of people just trapped in the ground for a bit in that way. Probably cut into the floor and carried around when they need to get them somewhere, like miniatures, actually, like war game miniatures.
Exactly.
Wow, that's creepy. Fantastic.
The detail is amazing.
Yeah. How did the dry brushing? At this point, Salandris, the drive has been successful, and this beautiful round ship, you go and see where you are. Do you want to flip the signal and see what we found?
Yeah. Oh.
Ooh, there's a planet here. We'll hard cut to you on the planet. It appears to be just pretty much entirely empty from the surface, but the signal is coming straight from here. And it's only when you land, you realize the signal is reflecting from here, from all around. Someone is using this planet as an enormous transmitting device. And as you approach, a projection of someone arrives, or rather two someones. It is basically two tranquil-looking cloned figures, one male, one female, who have been surgically co-joined, full of cybernetics, crackling with psychic fields. And they sort of speak to you in a very soft, kind, and voice, with slightly patronising edges. You have found us. We've decided it's a time of testing. When the Empire fell, they were developing better beings. We see they've seen that others have tried to make better beings. The two eyes look at you judgingly. The question becomes: now you've found the Collegia Psi, will the Collegia Psi choose to join you? At the beginning of the next year, you will return. And if you succeed in convincing us of the merits of the Empire you are part of, the Collegia Psi will join you. Otherwise, and then they flip out of existence, just fading away. So there's a new challenge as well. Right. And that ends the season as we go into the season of rest. Should we have a 10-minute break? Right, everyone's back, I believe. And I didn't do the XP at the end of the last one. So Salandris gets 8 glory. Oh, we are recording. We get 8 glory for the successfully going across the distance. The Solar Fleet gets a mission complete. So you remove the remaining Chaos token and you gain a bond.
And I had kind of half done it, but wanted to check that was correct.
Yeah. I saw you halfway doing it. As I walked away, it's like, no, I've just done the hard cut ending before doing the XP. So yeah, you gain a bond, you lose the chaos bond, but also you gain an XP to your XP track.
Right. It. Sorry, this is me pausing a long time to think about game stuff. I'll just make a note. I think maybe because of the way the character keeper is set up, it feels like Pain, Corruption, and XP should be a single track. Like there's just one stat that goes up over time.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of like it's the idea is like XP is you doing well whilst Pain is doing badly. Is the kind of the basis. As in basically, it's also the part of the game's balancing system. As in, if you're harming yourself badly, if you're doing badly in the game, you're usually rolling many fails, which means you're gaining power via that method. And if you're doing well in the game by actually completing missions, you're generally getting well on the XP track.
And you only get XP for completing side missions, right?
Yes, only side missions. At least at the moment. There's one rule I might try in the downtime just now to see how people feel about it. Because I'm not sure I like it, but it's one of these things which is in my head.
Yeah. I have thoughts. I'll put them in my notes and email them to you afterwards.
Cool. In Aegon, in the original Aegon system, they've got a weirdly much more complicated way of doing XP, which involves filling in star systems, and you get 3 in the same mission. And I tried to do something a bit like that, and it just ended up being too much overhead. So I've simplified to just this for now. And seeing where it goes. However, that is going to be worried about later. It's the end of the season of 3 seasons, and now we finished our first year with the season of rest. What's going on there is basically in the narrative speaking, the whatever's going on in Verdus 2 is still ongoing with the alien invasion, but they haven't quite managed to. It's a break in the front, if that's the way of putting it. As in, it's sort of static, even though Verdus 2 is really under real threat, which we'll come back to next year. The Season of Rest goes through the following things. First thing is the Triumph. Okay. Basically, everyone goes back to Terra to sort of celebrate the year's events. Between us, who do we think gets the Triumph? As in, who has the biggest military or like notable success of the year? And Slandris, who do you think should have the military success? Who do you think should have the parade?
As a player, I'd love to be generous, but in fiction, I think it's got to be Slandris for defeating Tyrant.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Slandris. Does Zalazaz or Aurelian have a different take?
Well, Aurelian has a different take, but Kay agrees.
Yeah. Jim, do you agree?
If you're talking, you're muted.
Thank you. Yeah, no, like Zalaz has no interest in this sort of pomp and circumstance anyway. So even if it made sense for it to, for that honor to fall to him, he wouldn't he would grit his teeth through it. Yeah. So if Salandros wishes to enjoy his moment, then that's allowed.
But the Triumph, the Triumph is ticking off, and to be honest, it's the Master of the Maelstrom. You kind of get the bits of the Maelstrom Tyrant's fleet are being dragged down Terra by enormous tanks. Some tanks and some like dredgers flying above it, and these defeated fleets are moving on. And in the middle, the Tyrant's head, bobbing in an anti-grav chamber, is moving along, and the cheering and the explosions go on and on and on. This is the new thing I want to test. Everyone has a legend. Faustian, Radiant, and Smooth. Like, who do you think most lived up to their legend over this year? And this is much more like, and the person who this is actually one that gets a reward as opposed to just in the fiction. Like, the person who most lives up to their legend gets an XP. Does anyone has a strong feeling who that is? And if there isn't, no one gets one.
I'd advocate that Aurelian's been a pretty smooth operator. They've made several friends. They've charmed people. They've stayed kind of within their lane.
I can see that. Yeah. just remember everyone's name. The Faustian, which is the Faustian is Zalazaz's name, and the Radiant, which is Salandrus's name. I think I agree with Aurelian, actually, unless anyone strongly disagrees.
Yes, no, that makes it like even under duress, they've been they've maintained their suavity. So
nothing but chiffon and smooth silks. It's
yes, exactly. Yeah.
That's good. In which case, Aurelian, you malt an XP. And I think the scene I would like to imagine for a second. Give me a little bit of your narration as you look upon this parade and realize that you are truer to yourself than Salandrus ever is.
Oh, well, this is something that Aurelian has always known deep inside, and they're watching all the sort of merriment and the things celebrating Salandrus. They see the head, and you see Aurelian reaches down and places a hand over their dual-hearted chest now and says, Salandrus doesn't even enjoy these things, and yet they do them. Pity.
Excellent. And so we'll move there as the next stage is called reflection. Basically, this is where we've thought about, have we lived up to our legend? Like, now the question is it perhaps a better legend would suit us better? So, like, how do people feel? In other words, like, if you wanted to change your name from Faustian to, actually, Radiant to Infernal might be one that would come to mind as an example. If you think that, like, do you want to keep your same legend or change the name to something you think might be a bit more appropriate to the way you're playing the character?
Yeah, I do like Infernal, especially as this the waft of corruption grows stronger.
Yeah, Infernal, it just occurred to me then, as Infernal was as in, like, Radiant, you've got definitely much more like vile and violent nature, but when Radiant, which is slightly transcendent, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyone else has any interest to change theirs?
I think Aurelian's going to stick to being a smooth operator for now.
It suits you, yeah. Jim, Zalazaz?
Oh yeah, no. I like to the extent that I may not have lived up to it, that redoubles my determination to do so. That's as right. Opposed to making me want to change. It's like I'm looking back on the year saying, did I make enough questionable bargains with, like inhuman powers? Maybe not. I'll have to work harder at that next time.
I can imagine it's like.
Sorry. I was just say, just because it's not on screen doesn't mean it wasn't happening behind thick velvet curtains.
Well, I was gone for that whole season, so what was I doing? We can find out.
Now, I'd feel free to establish something in the fiction at any point if you like. By the way, in that, I stress as in you 100% can do that. Next stage is the forging bonds of love and hate. Each Scion gets to frame a scene with another Scion, and you both take a bond with each other afterwards. Broadly speaking, I can give a theme across the year. So it's basically we're going to do 3 short scenes of, with you interacting with each other. My immediate one I want to say is Aurelian and Zalazaz, because Salandrus has got got the triumph, and you two have returned. You two have sort of set undead killer robots loose on Salandrus's planet, and also Salandrus has a space empire, and you don't. Is that what I mean? That's the kind of, that's why I want to see you two together. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, since Zalazaz, since you're away, I think you frame the scene where this is happening, if possible.
I think that while the party is like there's the whole parade and all this kind of stuff going on, there's the kind of the main cathedral on whatever this planet is, which is would otherwise be empty because of all the revelers and stuff. There is a I am holding mass while the parade is going on, and that is, that's a test of who the truly faithful are, is if they forego the carnal pleasures of this whole, and risk Salandros' wrath by not participating in his, like his self-aggrandizing festival that he is holding, but instead, are here for the observance of, ancient rites and stuff like that. And the self-flagellation that goes along with them and things like that. So it's like every aspect of kind of space Mardi Gras that's going on at Salandros's decadent event is has its gloomy, depressing, puritanical mirror in what's going on in this cathedral right now.
That's perfect. And which Aurelian, what brings you here? Enter the conversation.
Oh, Aurelian's already had a taste of one sibling's party, so now he's going to go to the other one.
Perfect.
Why not both? And yeah, I think he sums up and goes up to just no decorum, no respect for the fact that there is a religious ceremony going on. He just walks straight down the pew in the middle, and goes over to where Zalazal is and says, we did good this year, and throws a way too chummy arm around your shoulder.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of cock my head slightly, and it's like that thing where kind of just my sort of just the tip of my nose is sticking out from the shadow beneath that hood. And I say, well, we did well this year. Unless you did good, and my voice is dripping when I say the word in a way I am not aware of.
I'm always good. You may not be aware of it, but I'm always good. I have new players, and they're telling delight all around the solar system. I think you saw one for a second. My little thief. My puck. And he leans in way too familiar, touchy-feely.
Were you similarly disrespectful to Salandros, or do you reserve that honor for me?
This isn't disrespect. This is love and care, camaraderie.
I cannot help but think that you are not so familiar with the Cinder King.
Well, he's not as cozy to get close to as you are, Salazar. And you have the refreshing waft of home.
And I sigh exasperatedly. What do you want, Aurelian?
Oh, just to sit in the glory we fulfilled, with the Terran Lord's objective. We saved the architecture, and in doing so, that lovely Virtus, I'll miss, the corn smut, but hopefully that planet will burn to the ground. It would be fitting for one of Salandros' places to burn, would it not? It's basically his epithet.
He will not care.
Well, I know he's not fond of his toys, precisely, but it's not his care that I'm looking to see dissipate. It's his assets.
The guardians of that place could perhaps, if not be bent to our purpose, bargained with, perhaps.
You and I both do love a good bargain. See, this is why we're the better pair.
You are an atavist, Aurelian, a sensualist. Have you not considered that perhaps the experience of deprivation of and I I kind of cast my hand across the the congregation that are even now like hitting themselves on the back with scourges, um, uh, 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 might be an experience you would benefit from.
Why don't you introduce me to it? And we'll see.
Hey.
And and I look at you, and like tiniest corner of my mouth just curls up, just like a fraction of an inch, because and like I throw my arms apart, and like a couple of servants like rip the rip my robes off, and I'm standing there like bare ass naked, right? And like, I'm like as pale as the grave. I have this like lanky black hair and everything, that like falls in these like, like lank like streams like down to the middle of my back. And I'm just covered in scars, my entire body. And it's like, but I'm like ribs and bones and stuff like this, but like cut in that like Iggy Pop kind of way, right? If you know what I'm talking about. And like these two hulking priests, like cultists come up behind me, and like I close my eyes and I turn my face up to the the roof of the cathedral, and they just start like wailing on my back with barbed whips. And I'm like I shudder a little bit every time they hit me, and like tears come down, out of the corners of my eyes. And you see me actually smiling as they're doing this.
Yeah, I think we watch as Aurelian sees this, takes this, and he's like, I acquired my first one of those recently, and I did enjoy that. And we watch as we see Aurelian drops their own sort of gauzy, these alien silk and iridescent silks, and we see that first cut, that first scar that they've given themselves across their chest. And they lean their head back and wait for your servants to attend him.
My eyes flick over, and there's just like an almost imperceptible dip of my chin, and two more, like, and I think it's it's two like monks coming at me. There's two like big Amazonian nuns that come, and just start wailing on you.
Yeah, and I think Aurelian holds no noises back. There's pain, there's pleasure, there's tears just falling down his resplendent, shimmering cheeks as he takes in this experience you're offering. And he is, of course, later he may expect you to try his way. But for now, he is happy to indulge in trying some of this deprivation? ?
Yeah, and I think that like that feels like the scene to me, as we fade out on like the sounds of those things hitting our imperial flag. So yeah,
that's great. That's fantastic bonding there for the two of you. I've got slightly off rules. Since I kind of called that scene, I overstepped my bounds a bit. So it should be actually about you. You've got you people choosing one. But next scene I suspect we should choose is Salandris. Do you want to pick a scene afterwards? Anything you want to talk to anyone about, or where would you talk to them? Because to be honest, there's a lot to talk, because everyone knows there's a psionic thing going on. These the Collegia Psi, and of course they've kind of set your planet on fire. So there's a lot of things going on.
Yes. And is this our? Sorry, just to be clear, is this still a downtime season C? And
yes, we are okay. Still in the middle of the forging bonds of love and hate.
No.
Yeah. So this is basically everyone gets a chance to call a scene quickly, and you both gain a bond with each other. So in other words, I mentioned that that Jim and Kay should have both took a bond with each other.
Yeah.
I just transferred them.
I mean, I feel like we've seen a fair amount of Salandris and Aurelian. I feel like we've seen less of Zazalzaz, despite about Salandris not bathing, which is pretty
I love
the
that.
worst smelling person in the galaxy.
I love that all of you pronounce my name slightly differently, which is fantastic to me. That's great.
Oh, do you have a preferred pronunciation?
It is spelled Zalalaz, like it's a palindrome. But I'm not, but I just thought it was funny that it's all like everybody's kind of all over the place on it.
I'll just update my notes. Oh, and I already have a wedge. Pasted into the same document. Excellent. All right. Yeah. Where would Salandris choose to meet with Zalalaz? We're in the core now. I feel like Zalalaz would not be super comfortable meeting alone in any place that Salandris controls. Salandris would not be super comfortable meeting alone in a place Zalalaz controls. You're interested in the dead. Oh, what if we meet at the Empire Emperor's Memorial? Is there one? There's got to be something.
I mean, the one like that feels like a thing where like all of us would demand a hand in it, right? Mm-hmm. And so it would just end up this like, rather than like a coherently designed thing, it would be some kind of like monstrosity where like you could see each of our hands in having built it or something like that. That just feels like a great big architectural clusterfuck to me.
Yeah,
so.
That sounds like a nice big metaphor, and it's like also like it's been a year, so it's probably still in progress. So it's actually a metaphor for the Empire as well, as in who's actually really going to control this thing. So I think that's a great setting. Yeah.
So we'll meet at the or maybe like an observation deck halfway up a crane that stretches 5 miles into the lower atmosphere and is moving. Maybe this is something of Salandris's that we're watching the construction on, and it's a like it's going to be like a huge field covered in like big ceramic fire pits, basically, that burn with eternal flames. There's no flames there now. It's still under construction. And I can't imagine Salandris would get there first. I feel like Zalalaz would never miss a chance to steal a march on Salandris. So what is Zalalaz up to when Salandris finally arrives?
I am on the observation, on that observation platform. But I am not looking down to where they are digging your silly little fire pits. I have my gaze cast upward towards the largest of the 3 moons of this planet, and the sculptors and construction crews I have that are going to carve the Emperor's face into the surface of that moon. So I'm just kind of, my head's maybe back a little. My hood has perhaps, is kind of up on my head a little bit, and I'm casting my eyes towards the sky.
I think Salandris arrives. A, Salandris is not quiet, and B, you can feel the heat.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Also, I updated my legend again. I think incendiary is a little bit more currently Salandris' style than infernal.
do you just blow in, or are you announced by the adjutant first?
I think this is a private meeting.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're on a ship or someplace important.
Sure.
But I think you can smell, maybe underneath your own smell, the adjutant's scent and hear their sort of melodious voice saying something as they arrive. And Salandris will come and stand uncomfortably close next to you, which is, anything within, I think, 20 feet is probably not great for most people.
I think I kind of like the idea that you have figured out like the exact distance you can stand that makes my clothing smoke a little bit without catching on fire.
Yeah.
And so I say, like I can, I smell the whiff of like, my grave cloak, heating up, and I say, eternal flame, Salandros. We both know that eventually this universe will grind down and succumb to the forces of entropy, becoming nothing but cold, endless, dark. Your flame won't be so eternal then, will it?
And I think Salandra sort of barks a laugh and says, this universe, perhaps. But we both have feet in other ones. There's always a new frontier, isn't there?
Why have you summoned me, Salandros? I fear that if it is a hangover cure you are seeking from your recent festivities, Aurelian would be better suited for that.
And Salandris says, I did note your absence.
I was present. I was merely attending to other appetites than those of your flock.
I fear our tastes burn too hot for you regardless. And I think since we're looking at the Emperor's Memorial, Salandris' thoughts turn to the dead and says, it's been a year since Father's passing. What word have you had of the War Master?
Very little. Whatever mercurial plans he has proceeds at pace. I do not believe that he truly imagined that his plans would succeed. I think he just did it to get Father's attention. And now he has bitten off more than he can chew, as Aurelian might put it.
The dog that caught the tail he's been chasing all these years. I think you underestimate him.
I think the fact that the three of us are alive, speaking, conspiring, is all the estimation of his prowess that we need.
And what have we been doing this year? Holding the Empire together? Waiting? Releasing
Scheming.
Creatures?
Scheming, planning. A year is a speck in the span of time that this struggle will go on. We know that. Father's rule was millennia, and this is hardly the opening move in the coming struggle.
But an early gambit may be very profitable.
Salandros, perhaps Let me see if I can put it in terms that you might comprehend. If we're to succeed, we must smolder. We must allow our coals to become hot enough to melt steel. A bright flame will burn and impress, but it will gutter out quickly.
Well, let us hope that it is our flames that burn hotter when the time comes, then.
Indeed. You have asked me, and so I will ask you, although I expect you to be no more forthcoming. What do you know of the War Master?
Less than I'd like. I suspect we will see him sooner than any of us will be prepared for.
Well, then perhaps we should prepare.
Perhaps you should, yes. Good day, Salazaz.
That's great. We've been cut there. I say the as I said, since I jumped on the setting of the first scene of Jim and Kay, who actually wants to frame the last scene, and it's probably between it's probably Kay and Solandris' scene. So in other words, Aurelian would frame it in that case. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Cool. Aurelian would like to fit a frame. If so, as a GM's request, what I would like to see is something about the psionics. Like, that's interesting news. Especially you as the sensuous one. There might be something interesting there.
Yeah, I think Aurelian is meditating in this temple that they have, this psionic temple. And perhaps Solandros appears, and Aurelian interest is piqued, I wasn't expecting a visit from you here, of all places, but to hear your thoughts is quite interesting. The tittering of your mind boils in a way I don't think I've seen from anyone else, Solandros.
Yeah. Sorry, bounce out of character real quick. Mechanical question about the Scion faction. So this is going to be another challenge / mission. They are not currently a faction at the Empire. Is that correct?
Correct. In history, they were historically a faction of the Empire, and they've been rediscovered. And can you convince them to join the Empire? Is the first mission. If you fail that mission, because that's a challenge mission, a standard mission, it'll become a struggle. They're what they call the reactive card. In other words, you've got a chance to convince them. If you fail to convince them, you're suddenly dealing with an actual war. And to show their card, they are threat 2 plus individual. So they'll do 2 attacks at once, killing an ally. They'll target an ally to kill. So in the adjutant or the ultra thief, and they'll also do 2 threat, as in they'll add 2 chaos bonds to a target card. So they're quite nasty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So this is a psionic temple that's related to this faction before they left the Empire. This has got to be a very ancient place.
Aurelian's favorite.
Yeah. And I think Solandris is sort of standing looking at some friezes, wall sculptures. And,
Mosaics.
There we go. From far away enough that Solandris isn't damaging them. Seeming perhaps more contemplative than is Solandris' wont, and says, "You've a great interest in the past these days, Aurelius."
Well, I always have had a great interest in the past and the beauties it beholds and what it can give to our future. But that's not usually your style, so I ask again, why are you here?
I imagine for the same reason that you are, searching for information, the upper hand. If we cannot, bring the lambs back to the fold, I worry that they may reveal themselves to be wolves.
Yes, time and space can do strange evolutions to some. Especially when unshepherded.
And we are decidedly without a head shepherd just at the moment.
Well, I've played the part several times, but it is not set yet in this case.
No. So do you mean to, well, I suppose in your manner of doing things, court or woo our errant lambs?
It's an option on the board. They are to my liking, but I would never be so presumptuous and rude to not allow you a first crack at it, seeing as you did all the hard work finding it. I'm not Zalalaz.
Yes, of course, you had other more pressing matters to attend to. Slayer just gives you a look.
Yeah, and you just get the biggest, brightest, like full-on teeth smile. Yes, again, preserving things of our history so that we may appreciate them in the future.
Who's older, Aurelian or Solandris?
You're probably older. I feel like Aurelian gives strong little brother energy.
Sure does. That's why I was asking. And I think
100%. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I could maybe see Zalazaz being the eldest of this trio.
I mean, I feel like I'm the ignored middle sibling.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
The War Master's the oldest, I think.
Yeah.
Of all of them, but.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so of us, Solandris, Zalaz. Okay, that's simple. Playmat order.
Playmat order, yeah.
This is really, it's just becomes a session, hasn't it? This kind of,
Solandris gives Aurelian a look, and I think you've known Solandris long enough that you're able to interpret, what the flicker of flames means, and says, "So do you intend to clean up your mess now that you're finished with your toys, little sibling?"
Maybe. What's in it for me? You're usually so fashionist and those things like that. And maybe a mess creates a better play sphere.
And I think Solandris, shakes Solandris's head and, looks out beyond the walls of the temple at the large crunching machinery of the empire that is already beginning to stutter and fail, despite our attempts, thinking how close we came to losing the solar fleet and our ability to traverse with it. The tyrant's rebellion, the looming threat of the War Master, and says, if all you have interest in is games, then I shall leave you to them. Good day.
I have interest in stories, not games. Get it right.
And I think Solandris just sort of raises a hand as Solandris leaves the temple.
That's great. Nice to see everyone getting on in that way.
This entire time, Aurelian didn't open their eyes once or move from their meditating position.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of swagger with you three. It's they're good siblings. Okay, everyone should have gained 2 bonds. Everyone should have 2 bonds with everyone else at this point, or rather 2 more bonds, because there's no top level of player bonds. So each one of those conversations would have given you a bond with the other one. So you should each have an extra 2.
Could someone do that for me? I'm on my iPad. On my iPad, it's hard for me to move them around.
I gave you one for Solandris already.
Excellent.
Right, we're good.
I did as well.
Thank you. Next step is reinforcement, where you basically rebuild your political energies, your the factions. Each of you can take 2 bonds with a faction of your choice, or factions of your choice. Remember, you can have no more than 2 bonds with any one faction. So you can, as you pick them, feel free to say in the narrative why you think you're strong with them as well.
I mean, I think for the... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, T.
Oh, I was just saying for the... I think for both the Terran Lords and the Solar Fleet, it is the triumph, right? Bringing the fleet here to be feted as heroes, whichever of them that have survived. And of course, the Terran Lords always appreciate more coin trickling into their coffers. And I think Salandros was stinted nothing in the the celebration of Salandros' victory.
Excellent. Anyone else want to chip in? Sorry.
Yeah. Aurelian is, if nothing else, always looking back to his history. So he, of course, spends time with the faction that raised him, the Blade Guild, and enjoys an indulgence and sharpens himself against those that are of his level there. But I think he also spends some time with the Solar Fleet. They've had such a rough go of it lately, being just abandoned by Salandros, and really, they could use a good time. And what is Aurelian, if not a benevolent leader, to give them some fun and appreciation, and perhaps incline them to do things that might, improve their numbers?
That sounds great. I've got the image of suddenly you having a conversation with the tyrant in this floating head.
Yeah, I kind of reaffirm my connection to the faith because I managed to get an assassin within arm's length of the Holy Mother. Of course, they don't get a chance to, they don't actually lay a hand on her or, whatever. The handful of poison darts they have don't come out from under their sleeve, but they get close enough to her that they could have, she makes note of that. And so that ripples through the faith that, that I am keeping, with the faith in our, the way we were supposed to test each other. And so that reaffirms my connection to them. So I get one with that. And I think the other thing is that, I get some cred with the Blade Guild, simply because, word gets out that Aurelian spent some amount of time in the cathedral, instead of at the parade, where you would think he would be, and that clearly Aurelian felt, currying favor with me was valuable enough that he was willing to forgo some hedonism or, whatever, an alternate version, indulge in an alternate form of hedonism. And I feel like that affirms my connection to them because Aurelian and I were, kind of seen hanging out with each other.
Yeah, I love that. It's the that all that goes to the Emperor. In fact, the assassination attempt on Mistress Blade was so close that people say she gasped, an audible gasp, which is a high compliment indeed.
Yeah.
Fantastic. The other thing we do in the rest of the recuperation is first, if you have any assets which are unrefreshed, you can refresh one. The only person who is unrefreshed is the Imperial Adjutant, so you can refresh him, Salandros. And also, each of you, since you don't have an asset, or in the first season, you get to pick an asset. I'll give you a selection of ideas. These are basically a new character who's basically an ally or an old friend has arrived, basically. Why have they come now? They're the questions. Basically, these cards aren't actually specific characters, but they're much more kind of like inspirations or prompts for you to kind of build someone, or the narrative may suggest. So have a look. These are also just images. I see at least one of them is clearly AR. No, actually look at it again. But like this is the problem, just random. So I'm a bit annoyed with having them here. But still, I apologise. They will be sorted. So basically, the idea now is which one of these people has come to you, an old friend or ally, and why they come now. So feel free to have a look and pick. And first come, first served, I think. Here.
I 100% love the idea because it's just so weird that the star player
cool.
is like a former altar boy who became one of these like Michael Jordan level Blood Bowl players or something like that.
I love it.
Whose public persona is that like he's pious and he owes it all to, like he owes everything to God, and like he's, at the end of like whenever he scores, he goes down on one knee and makes, the sign of the faith and stuff like this. And so the
size of the face is the sort finger across the throat. I've got the image of.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yes, yeah. I love that. I love, he kneels and reverently just, slowly, silently draws those two fingers across his throat, and the crowd goes bonkers, and there's, chants that they have in the stadium and all that kind of stuff. So that's my, that's my connection to the common people is him.
I love it. You got a name for them?
Oh, their name is it's got to be something like Jax, like Jax.
Jax is good.
Yeah.
And I think the other question, what's the sport? Like, what's the sport of the Empire? Because Frank, if anyone's got any ideas here, it's definitely a good one to chip in. Because I love that this is the first time anyone's picked the star player, so I'm quite excited to see this.
Oh, it's 100% a 40K version of Blood Bowl.
Cool. Fantastic.
Like where you're like it's like a hyper violent, people killed on the regular, like
Nice.
Everybody running around with big ass spikes on their helmets and stuff version of like like an unholy mix of like rugby and American football.
Yeah. I think the image of like Zala, I've got the idea of Drax coming to you in the kind of big successful player. He throws you the championship because he's won this year. It's like I've won my championship. It's time for you to win yours. Like Salandris is that Salandris guy is just disrespecting you. There's you are literally the champion. You're the one with God, and he's just his own flame. I'm with you, man.
That's awesome.
And he gives you, and it's like he definitely kind of because he definitely got the image of like him winning the championship that year, and so this is to my friend Salandris. Kind of like give you a big kind of political boost there. Excellent.
Zalaz, you mean, right?
Yeah, Zalaz. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
So how clever is Jax is the question, but we'll come back. Okay, I think Aurelian picks next.
Oh, he calls me the Z.
Oh,
and like the athletes all refer to me as the Z. This one's for the Z. They say, Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You kind of got that gravedigger kind of like wrestling energy to you. I think Aurelian picks next because I'm doing an ascending number of assets. As in, since Salandris has most assets, I think they have last pick.
Okay.
So
I think I've got a brand, and he's going to stick to it. I'm going to go with the Desired.
Cool. Who is the Desired, and why did they come now?
Tell us about their OnlyFans page.
I think they're my favorite critic in all of the galaxy.
Love it.
And they've shown up because I finally started to gather enough players that they feel my performance is worth watching. Up and close and personally. They want to see my vision come to an end and therefore be completed.
Yeah. I get that. What does the Desired look like? What's their kind of visual?
Very David Bowie, androgynous.
Yeah.
Very much always in like a suit, but in just really like punk bright colors.
That's fantastic. You got a name or like a?
Rio.
I've imagined like Rio's arriving just in time for you heading back into space at the start of the new solar year. And Rio says, Aurelian, I'm happy for you. You're finally putting the band together. You've got the Ultra Thief playing with you. And I want to be on the road. I want to be on the road with you when I see everything happen. Because I'm going to write the definitive history of the start of the Age of Aurelian. You can do this.
Yes, and soon we'll be joined by even more fanciful players. We have a Puck. Perhaps you can be my Titania.
Well, thank you.
We'll gather a few more.
Yeah. Aurelian, you have something they can't buy. Style. Salandris may have a solar empire. You have class.
And Aurelian leans down and probably takes their hand and gives it a kiss.
Excellent. You can lob a token on the desired, as in the Rio. And finally, Salandris, who you pick? Yes. Who you picking? Or add a bond, sorry, to use the actual terminology of the game which I wrote.
I think it's the Bullet God, and
Excellent.
I think this is Salandris' ex, or one of them.
Oh, perfect. I say it's worth knowing. We call them the Bullet God. It's like you can absolutely make it part of your legion if you want, or outside your legion. You know, you have complete freedom, or even a previously established character. You can use these to signify. Cool. Salandris' axe. I'm interested.
Yeah. I did not come up with a name.
The Bullet God is a good name. You absolutely can use a title.
Yeah. I do think Salandris knows the Bullet God's actual name, though. Maybe it's Bryce. That's not too like anything else we have, is it? Nope. With a Y. And I think... I think he, him. Yeah. And this is... feel free to unestablish this, but maybe the most expensive mercenary in the Empire.
No, that's absolutely... you don't get called the Bullet God if you're cheap.
Munitions alone.
Yeah. Absolutely, the most expensive mercenary in the galaxy is exactly perfect.
Yeah, and I think they broke up because the Bullet God went to work for the War Master, and Salandris was not pleased to be yet again upstaged by Salandris' older brother.
Yeah. What's the Bullet God like? Give me a visual for them. What they?
Yeah. I think he's of a height with Salandris, who is quite tall. I'm imagining physically large, imposing, certainly augmented, certainly very old. Not Admiral Raven old, but been around for a while. I think also known for working alone. Has like a very small, very fast ship, and just shows up exactly where he needs to be when he needs to be there.
Yeah, it's like I'm a sniper, both from my ship, how I travel. You know, I'm one shot. He's the classic one shot player. The only games he plays are one shots, and that's exactly how he operates. And the scene I've got him just literally being in your quarters when you come back, and he's sitting there with this long, elegant sniper's rifle over his thigh and says, I hear the War Master killed your old man, yeah?
Yep. Surprised you're not with him.
I was. But he has actually not paid my last bill. And that is, and not paying the actual check is something I cannot forgive. Like killing parents, everyone's got two. But, a bill, that matters something. So, I've got a bullet here with his name on it. And to be honest,
send me the invoice.
I'll do this for free. I've got a reputation to keep up. I'll be there. I'll be here when you need me. And he clicks his fingers and teleports away. But always ready to act. Excellent. We've introduced our new people. Just to go game wise for a second. This only happens. These is basically to make sure everyone gets an asset at least at the start of the game. If you ever run out of assets, you get a new one of these people arrive. sort of if you ever get down to 1 again, just to make sure, which is a kind of a balancing mechanism, but it's always better to have an NPC around on your side. But cool. So I'm just and finally, the Houses of Healing, we restore all pain. Sorry, you remove all pain, rather. You don't remove corruption. You do remove agony as well, yeah. That's excellent. Right. Now we go into the next year. Can we have just a 5-minute break? Is that okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 5 works. How strategic mastery refreshed.
Right. Jim, did you hear any of the briefing about the special abilities I was just talking about?
I did not, I'm afraid. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. Basically, this is the sort of thing you can add at the beginning of the game, but I find it better to introduce it later because you don't really need to know how the game works before having one. These are special abilities to actually give your character a unique thing that only they can do. These are my first 5 attempts at writing something, which I'm still playing around with. You just take it and you drag it, the one you like, on top of yourself like this. And you can use it appropriately. We'll pick them in ascending glory order. So Jim will pick first. Though, plus this is one of the ones that's probably best to debate about as well. There's a question about when does strategic mastery refresh? Strategic mastery refreshes when you win the first stage of a 3-point challenge. And that's the only definitive way to do it. You could abstractly do it. You can abstractly do it as part of missions, as in it can be a reward from a mission, and it can definitely be a thing you can gain from a fleeting opportunity. In terms of, like, if you said, I want to try to discover the secret weakness of the undead robots, that could be a fleeting opportunity which refreshes your strategic mastery. So in other words, you can make your own missions up to refresh it, but the real way of doing it is as part of the big challenges. So it is one of the rare kind of resources to spend. Does it all make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Cool.
Yes.
What abilities would people like to pick then?
I mean, like, one of them literally has my legend in the name.
It is hard to resist.
So I'm going to take the Faustian Pact here.
Cool. Basically, one of the things about Scions is, the Paragon system is, characters are quite similar. You know what I mean? Like, they're just a bunch of dice pools. So I wanted to try to see if I can add something which gives people something which is definitively rule-breakingly theirs, and doing that without breaking the game, and also not doing stuff which should already be part of the game in terms of from the fiction, has been tricky. But, like, this is my first draft at these. Who's next to pick? Aurelian, which one would you like?
I'm thinking Psychic Prodigy, since he's an unnatural boy.
That's cool. Slandrus, any appeal?
Yeah. I think Deal Maker. Because despite Slandrus's bluster, I think Slandrus genuinely cares about making the Empire run good, for better or worse. For Slandrus's definition of good.
It's pretty connected as well, you know. Like Admiral Raven seems to get around. You know, that's good. Sort of to go through the mechanics. You know, normally you move a faction bond in the faction you're in. This Dealmaker basically allows you to move a faction bond from any faction to do the same. Faustian Pact is messy. You know, refresh it at will, but I gain bonds. So it tends to... and Psychic Prodigy, Strategic Mastery, to look at the underside of a flip card, which is quite fun. Right, start the new year. Before we actually do the establishing thing, add a token to the Rogue Explorer, and let's roll to see if they come back.
And Kay would roll for this?
Oh, yeah, okay, sorry, it's Aurelian's.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah. Sorry. Still out in space. I think a message from the Rogue Explorer and that kind of psychic Collegia Psi, Psychic War Master. War Master is he's, and that's when the message breaks apart to Aurelian. Something's going on, certainly. At which point, Solandris is still the leader, or still the most glorious of the members. So you get to establish the same.
I think we're on Solandris' flagship. Solandris is ready to go. The moment you two leave, Solandris is off. Harried, I would say, is sort of Solandris' current vibe. Yeah.
Excellent. What about Aurelian? How do you enter in the flagship?
It's the usual swagger, slow step, pause for a photo. Silk's trailing behind him as he comes in. No care in the world, seemingly.
Yeah. I'm actually walking past Salandrin, whose feet are presumably still part of a block, unless Salandris has freed him.
Yeah, he pauses for a moment and enjoys the sight, takes off one of his silk and wraps it around Salandris' shoulder. Keeps going.
Oh, no. And Zalaz, how do you arrive? Sorry, Zalalaz.
I think I do what I think of as a reverse Batman, which is like, they're talking but because of the way Salandros, glows and the radiance that comes off of them, there's a lot of like hard shadows in any space that he's in. And so like I just kind of like when they're talking, I just sort of emerge from one of those, hard shadows where there's like, no way that I could have easily like crossed the room to get there or something like that. I just kind of like step out from that shadow, at the moment of maximum, kind of gothic dramatic impact.
Excellent. But at which point the adjutant turns to you, offers you a glass of like slightly dank and old and really awful water in a cup, almost undrinkable for your pleasure, essentially. Tiny dip on my chin, and I, and my cadaverous fingers curl around it, and just, kind of bring it up to my lips to sip at it carefully. Excellent. And the adjutant speaks. Welcome, Scions, to the start of another season of war. And war we have. The undead robots are an undead robot of enormous pyramidal walkers are annihilating and multiplying upon the planet of Verdus 2. Verdus 2 was famous for crops. Its crops now include killer robots. I apologize if nothing is done about this particular harvest. Verdus 2 will be lost. Of course, there's also the pressing matter of the rediscovery of the Collegia Psi. In this season, they at least these twins claim to return to the planet, and we'll hear our pitches to rejoin the Empire. So we need to present. They would hear, and so clearly the robot's confused. As in, why would anyone rejoin the Empire? Anyway, I'm sure that the Scions of Import will actually choose to do something about this if they wish. And of course, there is also the news of the signal, which is going increasingly fading and may disappear this year. But it is merely a signal. There is many things happening. Please, Lord Slandros, would you mind taking over the argument and know what actually could be occurring here?
And I think Solandros is sitting on the navigator's chair, which is distinctly thrown like feet kicked out, ankles crossed, arms crossed over Solandros' chest. The Collegia's most pressing, I would hope, and looks at the other two of you. One of you would have and is searching for a virtue that is the correct one, and there doesn't seem to be any, at least to Solandros' mind, that either of Solandros' siblings possess. Bidability to deal with the problem you've created.
And what problem is that?
The fleet sails on its stomachs. I assume enough of the faith remains alive that they too must eat?
And like I shake my head, like how sad it is that you don't understand. And I say, and I like, reel off some bit of scripture about how, there was some pilgrimage where, when they ran out of meat, they ate grain, and when they ran out of grain, they drank water, and when there was no more water to drink, they drank their own blood and stuff like this. And I say, uh, oh, brother, you mistake hardship, you mistake trial for defeat. Perhaps the tempering of hunger might actually make your servants fight harder. I know that it does mine.
I heard the face swallows blades.
And that kind of little flick of the like corner of Zalalaz's mouth. He says, "No, they ingest nails. They defecate blades."
Sounds most useful, says the adjutant.
And if we're dealing with what are you going to be dealing with the size? Is that what you were saying?
If that was to Solandra, was that to Solandra? Or was
Oh,
that
yes, sorry, yes, to Solandra, yes.
Solandra says, I think it's the most pressing of our many duties.
And the one most potentially advantageous to you.
Yes, I believe if the adjutant enters, I believe if they entered the Empire, they would distinctly be allied to the person who brought them. Then, with that, in game terms, that means it would count as a completed mission with the College ESI if you bring them in. So it's an extra reward on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that just seems like we're not thinking strategically. We're thinking kind of, well, like a untried leader. Oh, you're responsible for this. Oh, I looked into that. Instead of looking at our actual gifts, the things we're good at. I think it would make the most sense for myself to reach out to the college side. We are both unnatural and of the same ilk. Whereas,
I think death is becoming of you, Zalazal, so perhaps you should deal with our lovely undead zombies. But I digress. Then I guess you could go fuck off into space, Flanders.
Yes, put that fleet of yours to good use.
Yes, isn't it for exploring?
Yeah.
Excellent.
We're now picking missions.
I would say that if the debate is over, and Slandra has to pick first because where are you going to fly to?
Yeah, that's a great question. So mechanically, the threat is the planet. The planet specifically is Virtus 2.
Yes.
So if this is not dealt with this turn, Virtus 2 will be destroyed. Am I correct in that?
Correct. Virtus 2 is removed from play. Or rather, you lose the asset of Virtus 2. In the narrative, it might be different. Virtus 2 might exist, but it's no longer an asset.
Yeah. I think, unfortunately, Solandra's going to have to go deal with the problem that yet again Solandra's younger siblings have created and dumped on Solandra's doorsteps. I think you can hear a deep grinding, and it takes you a moment to realize that it is the sound of Solandra's teeth.
That is funny. Honestly, the moment of what am I going to do? That's what we call playing Scions. Excellent. Okay, who's next? Aurelian, where are you going to go?
Yeah, I think Aurelian's being straightforward. There's no reason not to. Aurelian's gonna go for the thigh.
Cool. And Zalazaz? Zalalaz?
I mean, Salandros is like Salandros is wrong that the problem with the undead robots is that they're gonna eat his planet. The problem with the undead robots is that they do not serve me. So I will be going to that. And if my dealing with them, if what I want to do is turn them into an asset, is that like, can that be the result of if I succeed? Do we turn that into like a fleeting opportunity or a long-term project or something like that? How would we handle that? If like my goal is specifically not to go there and eradicate them, but to, subvert them to my cause.
I think the ways of doing that, there's a couple of ways, but I'm going to pitch you something slightly different. As in, that'll probably be actually, there's two. There's something going to pitch. We'll run that as a fleeting opportunity at the same time, so it becomes can you subvert them before they're destroyed? Would be the actual mission.
Yeah, that sounds great to me.
Which would be a cool way of doing it. The other way I'm going to do it is basically a message from Mistress Blade of the Faith, and she just sends you a private message saying she would rather she thinks the undead these undead robots are things of. Okay, the message is on a blade, so it's written intricately, and it's all about subtext, and it's a series of it's like a cutlery set she sent you, which basically a small armory, and explains the idea that it's probably a good idea if Verdus 2 dies.
Oh, it's 100% delivered to me in the form of one of my cultists, who's been stabbed multiple times, and I draw each blade from their body, and then the way the blood flows off of the blade is how the letters get formed. So you can only read it once when you draw the blade from their body, and then it's essentially destroyed after that. But yeah, and I read each of those, and I'm like, and I just kind of little dip of the chin as I note that.
Yeah, it's Mistress Blade's equivalent of I didn't have enough time to write you a short letter, so I wrote you a long one. That's kind of
exactly. Yes. Yeah. It's her singing telegram. Yeah.
Okay. The way that I think is the way this would work, actually, both of you would go for the project. Whoever wins gets to dictate what happens.
That sounds perfect to me.
Yeah. So in other words, you get to, but you would end up it would be a mission next turn to actually, get the robots. No. It'd be a mission next time to subvert the robots. So this is actually just destroy the planet, but this is sort of setting up next time. Cool. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. In which case, I reckon we should do the Undead robots first and finish the Ecologia Psi. Since I'm going to try, I just want to do a quick check-in and make sure that you're comfortable with the kind of PvP nature of what's going to happen here.
Yeah,
cool. Awesome. Yeah, great. Yeah.
Cool. I should have checked it as well.
Part of the point of the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was going to say, what I would have done, if one of the other players had actually gone to that mission by themselves, I would have pitched them that as just let them destroy the planet.
Oh, okay, sure. That
was kind of but yeah, as long as it's okay, Tay. Great. Right, we're going to do the robots first. Also, I'm going to try to basically wrap this in, do the missions in the next half hour, because I want to have time. I need to finish up. I've got a hard half hour past the hour end, and I'd like to leave time, so I'll be rushing through more than usual. Anyway, let's establish the planet. We have basically the various Imperial forces have tried to hold the undead robots spilling out this vent, these magnificent, horrific pyramidal walkers, and it's kind of breaking down. This situation is going to fail. The archaeologist is walking through the hologram, a hologram walking through the battlefield, observing carefully, taking memories of these machines as they tear apart reality, and the smell of burning corn and worse sweeps across the world. And it's war. Who will face this challenge of war? Let me roll the dice. This is arduous. This is D8, D6, D8. So 2, 8, and it's also arduous, which means you have to spend a pain to even enter the challenge. So let me just roll that dice. 2 D8s and a D6. Right, their total is 9 this time, because in the second year, the dice is +5 instead of +4.
Oh,
Yeah. That stays at +5 for the rest of the game until the final, like if there's a civil war or final conflict, where it goes to +6. Who will face this challenge of war?
Solandris will.
Excellent.
And I imagine Zalazaz as well. Or are we rolling?
Izalilaz Chosex, the Faustian, will face this challenge of war.
All right, so that is a D6 name. Sorry, D6 name D8 legend. D8 because war is the domain that Solandris has. What's it in? And then I'm going to spend both Virtus 2 itself and the Imperial Adjutant. And I think what this means is basically having the Imperial Adjutant temporarily take over the government so that all of the planet's resources are directed towards Solandris' efforts and not Zalazaz's.
I would say Virtus 2, Imperial Adjutant gives you a D6, Virtus 2 gives you a D8.
All right.
Kind of like, because it's like, if it's a battle on the planet, like, that strikes me as automatically an edge. Yep.
Fabulous. And then I'll take a second pain. It's arduous, so I already took one. To add cunning, I think.
Excellent.
And I think this is how good is the various plans. Battle plans, strategies, etc.
Cool. Jim?
That's a 9.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
if you rolled, you should both roll together. By the way.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So you definitely re-roll that whatever it is, just because it's like it's an advantage to Jim to know what you've rolled.
Yeah, because like if you rolled super high, I wouldn't bother putting anything into it, and if you rolled low, I would know.
Basically,
I got to spend more to get. Yeah.
3d8, 3d6.
You're at 3d8, 3d6. Okay.
Yeah.
I am Zalalax Chosex, which grants me a d6. I am the Faustian. My legend is Faustian. I make bargains with dark powers. That lends me another d6. This is a challenge of war, which is a d6. I spent one pain in order to join the challenge. I will spend a second pain to bring my cunning to bear, which is a d8. I will, since the Holy Mother of Blades has given her blessing on the death of this place, I will add a d4 for my connection to the faith. And what's the deal with using my strategic mastery?
As in, do you have any? Oh, you've got a bond with yourself, so you spend it's D10 basically. So spend strategic mastery to add a D10.
I will spend my strategic mastery. My strategic mastery being, it is so much easier for me to subvert the efforts at defense so that these things win than it is to actually defend the planet. And to look like I'm trying while I do it. Like throwing a game is so much easier than winning a game. That this hopefully should be child's play for me.
Cool.
And I think that's and if we so the bonds we have with each other are things that we spend to help each other. Is that how that works, or
you spend
or to hinder each other, or what?
You spend a bond to add the name dice to your own dice pool. So, in other words, if you spend a bond with the other person, it's either they can actually physically help, it could be their resources, or it could be a negative thing in terms of I hate them so much I want to kill them. Like it's basically the power of your relationship, for better or worse, leads to add their name dice.
I'm 100% going to spend a die with one of my bonds with Solandros because they're like relying on me to help, and so it's it's kind of in my hands here.
Perfect.
And so, Solandros, what's your name die? Is your name a D8 now, or
no, it's still D6. If it were
still
a
D6?
D8, I believe that would summon the War Master.
It would.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Oh, your whatever your reputation.
My legend is a D8.
Your legend is a D8. There we go. All right. Okay. Cool. So that's my whole pool. We ready to go?
That's good luck.
Let's do it.
Wow, this is interesting. Fourth.
I think 15 got it. 7 plus 8, right? And the best I can do is 6 plus 8.
I'm at and the 2 at the end there I think is probably my D. No, my D4 is a 1, so I got 16 for my total.
That's good though. Good rolls for both of you then. However, you both succeed. So the way narration goes is like, just set each other up and let's describe how the victory is tore from Solandros' mouth. Okay, set up the scene. Enormous death robots crashing forward, indestructible, unbeatable, surely, until Solandros enters the fray, and then.
I mean, these are the what is it? The something suns, the blinding suns appear over the horizon. And I think that part of Solandros' cunning is that we know that these must be destroyed at a distance, and we know that they are susceptible to specifically some sort of sonic weaponry. And I think perhaps Solandros roped in the archaeologist to find out the specific what's what I'm looking for here? Frequencies that will destroy the carapaces that hold the spirits within, and is much like an ant with a magnifying, being fried with a magnifying glass, is able to pinpoint these creatures on the surface of the planet, and is working on destroying them one by one without completely rendering Virtus 2 uninhabitable, even by holograms and robots, when
on the other side of the planet, like a there's another hologram, and like my cultists are aiding you in this, and maybe like working some of the machines and stuff like that. And my space god is in orbit around the planet. But somewhere like on the other side of the planet, that we can see clearly, it's like a different biome, there, whatever. It's like some mountainous region or something like that. There is another hologram that is clearly, the Belloc to your holograms Indiana Jones, just like has all the, whatever. He's got like it's a dude, he's got a goatee, like he's got a monocle and stuff like this, and, like rubbing his hands together as we see some of my cultists, going at a, whatever, at a stone wall or something like this. And just as it looks like you have, you're getting a handle on the ones that come out of this other tomb, the hologram turns to me with this, like, he's like rubbing his hands, and he says, now, sir, now? And Zalilaz, draws a finger across his throat, and he turns and he throws his hands up, and they crack the seal on the other tomb that is holding more of these things, and they just start swarming out, around him as he's like, capering and dancing and laughing as they're, vomiting forth out of this second tomb that you did not know about.
That's fantastic and horrific. The planet, like, do you want to describe the death of your planet, Salandris?
Yeah, I think we are very far out. We are in space. Maybe we're looking over Salandris's shoulder as this beautiful.
And Zal, yeah,
Okay.
and Zalaz says, "I called you as soon as I found out about the second infestation. I knew you would want to know."
Zalazaz meant, the Trosseks wanted to watch Salandris see this happen. Salandris's fist clenches as we see this beautiful, verdant, jewel of a planet, much like a time lapse of a rotting strawberry, be entirely consumed by these forces of death. And that is its end. It is uninhabitable.
Goodbye, Verdus too. And all these the robots, having consumed and fed well, start to transform into space and head out finding their next targets. I'm going to add something. So, 9 glory for Zalazaz. I can't say that name. Zalalaz. 9 glory.
That's okay.
Yeah. 5 glory for Salandris. Zalalaz also completes the mission with the Blade Guild. Not the Blade Guild of the Faith. But you don't actually have an extra, since you've already got 2 tokens on the Faith, you can't get another one. Or
Do you really get an XP?
No, but you do get an XP.
Wouldn't I have spent one to do it?
Oh, you did, but you didn't move it. Yeah, sorry, I forgot that you can't touch the
yeah, it's really hard because I'm I'm on a tablet to mess with it. So
yeah, I forgot. In which case, one is spent, then one comes back. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. And you get an XP.
Done.
One thing, this is me in the fiction, and this is me pitching it. I quite think the Terran Lords are pissed off about this because they got the world's great delicacy back, and they've suddenly lost it again. So I would like to put a Chaos Bond token on the Terrace Lords just to show how displeased they are about this happening. Is that
100%? Like a little adversity will build character as far as that faction is concerned.
Yeah,
as far as I can tell.
I just think these Terran Lords are pretty petty, even for the Terran Lords in this way. Excellent. We go over to the hard cut from the death of a planet to this barren world, where Aurelian arrived to try to convince these Collegia Psi that the Empire is worth being in. Do you want to describe how you've sort of like what do you do? What have you set up the stage, if you will? What's the actual? How are you going? What's your pitch going to look like in the? Not the actual how you do it, but kind of like the setup, basically.
Oh, yeah. So I think stage is, of course, exactly the right way to put it. I think Aurelian has some sycophants set up who, before he even deigns to show up, have this long, thick, plush red carpet that they just roll on out for him to stroll onto as he comes, stopping right at their feet. And a couple of other paces away, we see the Desired kind of flick a hand as a few other minions get essentially strobe lights and put it up to light up on both these twins and Aurelian himself. And no words are actually spoken. There is not a single sound here because this is all done in psi communication. So it's bright lights, deep, soft red carpet, ending right at their feet. And Aurelian actually starts it off by taking a step back, inviting the twins to step onto the plush carpet if they'd wish.
Cool. Just, I'm not sure there'll be any room for that, but if anyone wants to play Salandris, if you want to play the Ultra Thief, and Zalazaz, if you want to play the Desired, the Critic, you've got the Desired at this point in the scene. Like, it may not come in because it's going to be, I get the feeling I don't know how this might play out, but both you being available, those NPCs are free to grab.
Sure.
I've done that way round because T has actually seen what the Ultra Thief is like more. I think. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's all good.
The brother sister does a smallest telekinetic gesture, moving the air around them, as if, and it means something quite simply, wait, not yet. And then there's a noise, and it's a slow, steady tread of the dust beneath heavy booted feet. the crunch, crunch, crunch into the distance. And then, looking down upon Aurelian, are words spoken, not telepathically broadcast, spoken quite clearly. Hello, little one. You've come to pitch too. The War Master is here.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, Aurelian, I think, a little bit. Aurelian's eyes kind of widen a bit, but his grin also spreads. Like he's surprised, but not displeased.
You know, he's speaking, and it's one of these things that he's as psionic as any of you. So his speech is deliberately a choice in terms of, and especially how it echoes around this wide open space. We're here to discuss the future of the Empire, and I am he. We're here to discuss the future of the species. And these are creatures who've been reaching to the stars. And, you are nothing but like grubby little things who couldn't even give birth to the age you find yourself. This age will be known as mine. And I'm glad to have you here.
And the Desired ostentatiously yawns at that speech from the War Master. Blinks twice, says, forgive me, continue.
Yeah, and I don't. Do you know what, Aurelian? I promise a better world. And you know why this will be a better world? There will be no more critics. Shall we begin?
Yeah.
Excellent. Let's get a dice pool together. This is the Collegia size dice pool. It's the D10. It's the D8. It's D8 risky. So in other words, if you fail this, you lose a faction bond. It's also telekinetic clones. I don't think comes into this challenge. So it's just D8 and D10. However, I'm spending a War Master bond. Jim, by the way, this is something I introduced last session because I forgot to do in the first one. The War Master has bonds which they spend, and they spend like a faction bond. So it's actually D10, D8, D4 is what we've got here. And the D4 works like your ones. So this could go very well for you or very poor. Let's see how it goes. That's pretty good for them. 17.
Yikes.
Actually, no, I'm lying. 16.
Still yikes.
Yeah, still like, it's doable. You've rolled 16s. But it's a big one. 16. Who will face this challenge of rhetoric? I do like the idea of Aurelian just go, nope, I'm out.
No, Aurelian will do it. So we have a D6 for Aurelian. We have a D8 for his smooth operating legend.
Mm-hmm.
This is rhetoric, so there is another D6. And let's see. I think, I'm going to throw another D8 onto the pile for the Desired. They've already chimed in and sort of perhaps impacted the way that the War Master is seen by the citizens of his grouping.
I would say that actually the Desired is. I've got the Desired the wrong way around. Yeah, so the Desired should be a D8. So it's basically D6, but it's a D8 this time because I think, frankly, a battle about what is art and people that's as critic as it gets, really. Especially because just make sure I've got the right side. Yeah. So basically, the two sides of the assets are whether they've been upgraded or not. So that's another thing you could do in a mission, for example.
Okay.
Will the future of the Empire be dreadfully boring or not?
Yes.
I think I'm going to spend some favor. Can you do more than one D4?
You can. You only add the best one. So in other words,
you only add the best one.
It's doable. It's worth. There's an advantage. It's a bigger odd, but it's not the best use of a very precious resource.
Yeah, not the best
way of putting it.
Yeah. So I'm going to spend one of my D4s with the Terran Lords. Because I think they're invested in my image. I don't think the War Master speaks to the luxuries they enjoy the way
No, he did try to kill them all in the first scene as well, if I remember as well. So like, there's definitely a bad blood there.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, they're not the greatest. And I technically have a bond with the War Master himself.
Absolutely, D8.
Ooh, do I want to? I kind of want to. Yeah, I kind of want to spend it.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend that D8 as well in this. No matter how brazen he is, I think I am his favorite little brother.
I think so. I've also that hello little one at the start. I think that was entirely genuine. Yeah. Like he probably taught you stuff, and like there's definitely stuff you would know about him. I think.
I have a 17.
Fuck yeah, nice work.
Oh, that rolling a 4 on that D4, that's huge.
That's solid, yeah.
Yeah. That's what you want, really. So you take 16 glory before I forget.
All right.
Let's do this. Okay, the War Master just turns, and it just summons the Emperor, a psychic projection of perfectness, standing there, and he clicks his fingers and explodes messily. He says, "What we have quite simple. As I explained, this is about the future of the Empire. The Empire is dead. I killed it. He has tried, you were sent out as a probe into the future, and you returned, and we have a chance of crafting it. The Emperor, he betrayed us as you were betrayed by the people who sent you here. He's sold ourselves, has sold the entire Empire for the power that is inside us, and then he tried to take it and use us as weapons. We are weapons, and we need to we are weapons who can choose to wield ourselves. And this, my little brother here, with all his art and skill, is still just nothing but dancing around a corpse, a maggot writhing through it. And we can make the future. And I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of anything. So you will join me or you will die. For I am the War Master, and that is all there is in this world.
And I think this is not said aloud. It's done purely psychically. My brother makes a good point here. This is about creation, and most of what he's done is destruction. We have a psi nature, believe in building things, on making them better, on growth, and my brother, again, means well, and perhaps in time he will see. He just needs time. We do not wish to waste. We wish to grow and build from what was there. And he points to his own chest. For you see, my brother didn't succeed in destroying all of our father. I have taken some of it. I have had it brought to me. And I am now including it in myself and the things I will continue to build, just as you've taken your family into yourself to create a better version. I intend to do the same, and perhaps one day my brother will join me in this, and you can't blame him. I mean, look at him speaking in the physical tongue. He's just not there yet. And just like the most indulgent smile sent to the War Master's way. You should come with me for now, for our alliance, and then one day, hopefully he'll join us when he's ready, when he's grown.
Excellent. My little irises came in, so I've turned the camera off for a second.
All good.
Right. Anyway, brother sister sort of listened carefully, says, "We will consider this. We will consider what you have said. You have both spoke well, and the decision will be made." At which point, that will cut to shortly later.
And the critic says, "Oh, lovely." The passive voice.
And you find that outside, waiting for you back upon your ship. Your ship is surrounded by a fleet of psionic vessels. Our prognoscient future sayers, the Sooths, saw this victory. So we have arranged to come here in advance. We've rejoined the Empire. Well met, Aurelian Rex. First mind, first soul. We come to your light. We've been lost a long time. And we'll move the Ecology aside to join it. And across the galaxy, when the War Master realizes what's happened, someone's neck gets broken. Right, fantastic, good work. The Ecology.
I think really quickly, the neck breaks on this person. There's the anger, and just a little missive kind of floats right in, or doesn't float. Ooh, no, hasn't floated right in. It comes out of the neck wound, right? The Ultra Thief has left a little calling card from Aurelian with just a kiss on it and a was very good to see you, brother.
Brilliant. Last word of the War Master. Very well. The end game. And then we'll end the credits. Thank you for playing Scions, everyone.